advertising us since we were born. And I'll give you some examples. Let's start with the big one. Let's start with words we hear all the time and never even think about. Let's start with the word entertainment. To entertain. What does that mean? To bind or hold. To bind or hold what? An audience's attention. Okay, now let's take the word Hollywood. Where does that come from? Well, Hollywood comes from the holly tree. And the ancient Druids, back in the day, used to take the holly tree, make wands to weave spells, cast spells, or channel spells. And when they needed help, they would consult the magi's or the mediums of the day to help channel their spells to the population. We'll cut to today. What do we have in our houses? We have these black boxes. What are they called? TVs. But if you stop and you say the word television, television. And when you turn on that television, what do you get? What's the first thing that pops up? A list of channels. And when you turn on those channels, what's on those channels? Programming. They are programming you. They've been programming your whole life. You don't even know it. They do it with your music. They do it with your TV. They do it with your movies. They do it with your games. They have been programming us and programming you since you were little, and you don't even know it because you don't even question it.
Starting in 1900, we entered a previously unimaginable time of modern technology. Advances that allowed the rulers of this world to construct and direct our stories in ways we previously never imagined. As a result, new techniques to control the population were realized. These are the people from the companies that we have trusted to deliver us our news and tell our stories. This has always been about controlling what we as the population think and hear. They help create our culture and influence our society. We as citizens only trust them because as a society, we think that the gatekeepers have our best interest in mind.
Are indoctrinated through the Board of Education into teaching little ones witchcraft. Now, again, they're innocent. They don't know any better. But we must break this down because it's the days of revelation. It's time to do that. So what is the symbol of the Board of Education? Well, it's a tree. What tree is that? It's the tree of knowledge. Okay? So we're talking about a public school system that was admittedly created by the Masons, a secret society that unapologetically admits to looking at Lucifer as God and the God of the Bible as being an unjust and angry and unfair, unjust prude of a God. Okay, and that's what they teach you, and that's why you get Luciferianism running rampant throughout Hollywood and the music business. Okay, so when you're young and you do well at spelling, you may be asked to compete in the spelling bee. Now, it's interesting. The spelling bee. Why is it called a spelling bee? Why not a spelling ant? Well, a bee. The B, the letter B, is a big deal in Masonic symbolism because it represents the 13. And 13 is nothing but, we don't have fear of any numbers or letters, but we're going to break down what those who put magical connotations to these things. We're going to break down what they believe and what they intend. And of course, once you know someone's intent and what they're really up to, it's hard for them to accomplish it, right? Especially if they need your ignorance in order to do so. So we're going to look at why the bee. Well, bees are a lesser known Masonic sign, a lesser known Masonic imagery. Why? Is it because they're builders? Is it because they operate with a hive mind? Is it because they're deadly? All of these things are things we can relate to the Masons. Is it? And again, the Masons are but the most popular of secret societies, and so the squeaky wheel get the oil. Okay, we know that it's the Order of Sin or the Order of the Serpent, the Brotherhood of the Snake, that is the oldest secret society and is truly the culprit behind everything still today. These ancient secret societies have cloaked themselves and renamed themselves and remade themselves and transformed into the many secret societies that we see today, the most powerful of which we know being the Freemasons. So sorry, you guys, but you get the bad rap because of your association. Okay, the Royal Order. Bees operate under a royal order, as do the secret societies. They operate under a queen. And in the case of Queen Elizabeth, Beth being Hebrew for house, the house of lizards, Elizabeth is what that means, the house of lizards. Queen Elizabeth, we know, has unique bee stitching inside of her ceremonial gowns. And that bee stitching, we're going to break that down a little taste. You look at the Boy Scouts, who are nothing but junior Masons. Their big symbolism is the bee. The Secret Life of Bees. Well, the main character in that was Lily, which is short for Lilith, and it starred Latifah, who those of us my age and in that range can remember as Queen Latifah. Again, going back to the symbolism of the bee. Right now, we're just showing you a couple of things about the depth behind this spelling thing and why we use the term spelling bee and why we use the term spelling. Okay, so you have Latifah, who was the Queen Latifah, who plays in this movie, Secret Life of Bees, which happens to be the last movie the movie that Jennifer Hudson was promoting when her family was sacrificed and slaughtered. It was this movie, Secret Life of Bees. And most researchers and truthers will say that it was because of her initiation into the secret society that she lost her three family members in such a tragic and sudden way. Bees symbolize the witches and warlocks within the secret society. Why? Because they operate under a hive and they have a unified mindset. So, we broke down the B part of spelling bee. Well, now let's look at spelling itself. Now, the science of putting together symbols to create words which express meanings, that science is not called wording, although it's the science of creating words. We use letters to make the words, but we don't call this science lettering. Letters are nothing but symbols, ancient symbols, but we don't call this science the science symboling either. We call the science of arranging letters together to create words and convey meaning, we call this science spelling.
Reveals more than we think. We were supposed to be raised on telepathy. We still have telepathic powers, and this in part is the reason for intuition and feeling other people's energies. Language has been an attempt to cut off this connection. Every word we say is a magic spell. So spelling, spell casting, has been specifically used to denigrate our divine selves. We are born into this world. Born comes from the English word barren. Today's definition of barren is unfruitful, bleak, and lifeless. Our children, as designated by our language, aren't even ours. Parents are a pair who rents. Our governments, especially our courts, don't treat a parent's right to control and direct the upbringing of their child as a fundamental liberty. We're forced from a young age through many types of indoctrination, and our parents are helping in this process. Look at the word childhood. A hood is used to cloak and hide. The etymology of children is chill and dren. Chill means cold. Dren is a name meaning a strong and healthy individual. So children are strong individuals who must be chilled, made cold. Stay with me, this will all come together. In Ballantyne's 1948 Law Dictionary, the term human being says sea monster. When we see monster, we get the definition, a human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal. In the Oxford New English Dictionary of 1901, a human is defined as belonging or relative to man, as distinguished from God or superhuman beings. So these definitions are telling us we're monsters and have no inherent divine qualities. The word live backwards is evil. Our language is telling us we're born as monsters who are bleak and lifeless to a pair who rents us out to the government and other corporations that indoctrinate us. Our childhood is spent under a cloak so our divinity will be hidden from us and we're evil when we live. Our sentences are made up of words. The word sisters in Greek mythology were fates or witches who controlled the fates of man. Every word we say directly affects our reality and ultimately our fate. The Egyptian deity Thoth is said to have invented language and writing. The original purpose was to use words for magic. The words write and write are pronounced the same. A rite is a ceremony or ritual. Whenever we're writing with words or speak, we're initiating a ritual. Books contain chapters. A chapter often refers to a sect of a secret society or religious order. To page someone is to summon them. Pages in books made of words are summoning things to enslave or imprison our souls. The word grammar comes from the French word grammaire or grimoire. Grimoires were ancient magic books which contained instructions to summon demons. I want to mention sounds affect everything around us. The study of cymatics is the study of sound vibration on matter, and it has been demonstrated that vibrations and frequencies create geometric patterns in sand and other mediums. We wake up each morning. A wake is a funeral party held for the dead. At the beginning of each day, we say to each other, "Good morning." Mourning is what you do when you're sad for the loss of someone or something. We begin each day reveling in the mourning of our divine nature which has been stripped from us by calling it a good morning. It's pretty masochistic if you ask me. We then go to work at our occupation. When we occupy something, it can mean being occupied by a military force, like in war. Many occupations are focused on money and the dog-eat-dog mentality. The dollar bill comes first before the environment or even each other. Therefore, we are committing war against each other and Mother Earth during each day we work our occupation. We are the military occupiers. An urn is for the ashes of the dead. For the average 9-to-5 worker, it would have to be one of the weekdays in order to earn a living. I agree, you would have to be in a weekdays to earn a living. During the week, we become weaker and weaker until finally it's the weekend, and we have become weakened. Somebody or something who is weakened has no power. And during the weekend, many of us turn to drink alcohol. Alcohol comes from the Arabic word al-kul, which is a body-eating spirit. It's also the source of the word ghoul. We drink booze or booze. Booze are synonymous with spirits who scare you, but what can you expect when you're drinking spirits? Alcohol has always been a medium for entities to flow through, and the effects in part demonstrate this.
Are you aware of the hidden spells of the English language? Why do our words even matter? You see, words are powerful spells that can literally change your reality. In this video, I'm going to shine a light on what you're really speaking into existence through etymology. What is etymology? Etymology is the study of the origin of words and the way in which their meanings have changed throughout history, or his story. The English language has many hidden and secret spells in which you can use to empower or disempower yourself with. One of the first things they teach us at school is how to read and write. In order for us to be able to read and write, we have to learn skills such as spelling and grammar. Grammar is based off the old French word words. If you can control the meaning of the words, you can control the people who must use the words. To give you an example, when you are purchasing a property, you have to sign a contract with your lawyer. Even though the terms and conditions are written in English, it can seem like gibberish to most. This is because it is written in legalese format to confuse those that are signing the contract. It's all just a manipulation on linguistics, and that is the con. A con is to deceive someone by lying or tricking them into believing something. The word mortgage is derived from the old French word which means death pledge. That's why it takes you approximately 30 years to pay it off. About the same amount of time for someone that has been sentenced to life imprisonment. And I wonder why so many people call this world we live in the Matrix, or Mars tricks, the mother's tricks. In order for the trick to be played, one must tune into their television. Tells lies to your vision. That's why it's called a television program, because your subconscious mind is being programmed. The question is, what sort of information is your mind being programmed with? So for most people that want to stay informed with the latest news, they tune into their favourite news channel and watch the latest broadcast of those casting abroad, to cast their spells. To channel is to tune into a certain frequency and channel their favourite programs. To make channeling easier, they created the remote control, so they could control you remotely. In Hollywood, they call it movie magic. After watching your favourite programs or movies, you have the option to see the movie cast. If we look at the term Hollywood, it actually derives from the holly tree. The holly tree was used by druids who were known for being priests, witches, and also wizards who used its branches to craft their magic wands for casting spells in ancient times. These rituals still go on today. Hollywood movies are forms of sorcery using psychology, subliminal messages, and manifestation through what is called lesser magic and bewitchment. Some even use the term law of attraction. That's why actors and actresses use scripts in movies as they speak things into existence. Even the news reporters are reading scripts as they broadcast their latest information from around the world or from your local government. They are all just actors and actresses playing their role in programming you.
We are born into this world. Born comes from the English word barren. Today's definition of barren is unfruitful, bleak, and lifeless. Our children as designated
An easy spell for a situation to go in your favor.
Spill off.
Sorry?
Spill off.
This is a spell my wife and I
books which contain instructions to summon demons. We wake up each morning. A wake is a funeral party held for the dead. At the beginning of each day, we say to each other, "Good."
If Satan ruled the world and he had a unified language, what language would everyone speak? That's right, English. Did you know that English is a Germanically derived, occult-influenced language? Why do you think our language is called spelling? Other languages do not derive their vocabulary words from witchcraft terms. The words in the English language were crafted by known occultists, like Sir Francis Bacon, whom you may not have heard of, but you probably heard of his secret writing group called the Spear Shakers, or should I say Shakespeare? Yeah, William Shakespeare was not a real person. And we know that because the writing styles in his different stories are drastically different. William Shakespeare is responsible for introducing 1,700 words into our vocabulary. William Shakespeare was not a real person. He was a group of individuals ran by Sir Francis Bacon, a known occultist, who had an agenda. He had an agenda to normalize witchcraft into our everyday speech. Speaking of normalizing things, what do you think Hollywood is? Hollywood is the wood that witches and wizards use to craft their wands and staves out of. It's a derivative of Hollywood. Yeah, Hollywood. It's an extension of witchcraft. And to this day, it continues to craft our language even further.
The Hollywood viewing point is marked with a blood drop. And people still think it's a conspiracy. They rub it in our faces literally. Subliminal messages are everywhere. Share this to wake up a friend.
And I bet that blood drop is painted with real blood. Hollywood continues, with all the movies and media and songs and things today, to distort our language and to make it even more death-centric. The words in our language are intended to create confusion, hence why the sun in the sky is the same word for the Son of God. Do you not notice that there is a reason for the similarities in words? It's to create confusion between sun worship, which a lot of pagans did, and people that worship the Son of God. Or like the word love, has multiple different words in other languages, but in English, there's only one word for love. It's all created to distort your perspective of the Bible and of God. It's the same reason why all of the cuss words in our language are all towards God, like son of a bee. Why is that even a curse word? Son of a bee? Well, it's because the original terminology would be towards God. Jesus was the Son of God, and those that opposed him would say he's not the Son of God, he's the son of a bee. Or oh my God, or GD, or even using Jesus' name as a curse word. Have you not noticed how much of our curse words are connected to God? We call them cuss words, but they were originally called curse words for a reason, because to say these things brought curses upon yourself and others. Our language is so death-centric. All of the figures of speech are negative. Think about it. The language today, I'm dead. I laughed so hard, I died. I died laughing. You're killing me. I would just die. I'm sick of that. Wicked, like all of these terms, they're all negative.
Your word holds a vibrational frequency that is able to cast spells within your reality. The English language was deliberately designed in a way for it to be easy to cast spells onto others and yourself. With the origin of the English language being rooted heavily in people who practice black magic and witchcraft, with black magic being of an evil and unrighteous nature. These words that we speak on a daily basis has a vibrational frequency that resonates throughout our universe. This is why people of a spiritual nature are able to know when they're being gossiped about. Because being an empath means you are able to pick up on the frequency and vibration within the words that are being said about you. And the key to taking back the godly magic within your word is your intention. When you begin to deliberately speak consciously and with pure intention, you will be able to transform your reality. And this is why affirmations are so important within your spiritual journey. Because when your intention and word are aligned, the Creator will be able to speak through you.